Welcome to tonight's presentation. We are so excited to have you. Tonight we are going to be discussing the Department of Recreation Sciences. So under the Department of Recreation Sciences, we have two majors. We have the BS in Recreational Therapy and the BS in Recreation and Park Management. So there are a couple of people here tonight who I want to introduce before we get started. We'll do the quick presentation, and then we'll open it up to questions. We have our wonderful student ambassador, Ms. Lydia Pinto, with us. So she'll be able to tell you she's involved a lot on campus. So, and this is just for you to learn not only about our majors, but about ECU. So if you have questions about, and these things we answer questions about residence halls, meal plans, whatever you have questions about, we're happy to help. And we also have Dr. Carrie Autry with us. She is our program coordinator for the Department of, or for the BS in Recreational Therapy major. So again, we'll go ahead and get started. It looks like we have great representation from Eastern North Carolina and North Carolina tonight. We have some parents on the call, so we welcome you as well. This is being recorded. We're going to put it on our YouTube page, and we'll send out the link tonight. In case your student is not able to join you, they can go back and watch this. So again, we will go ahead and get started, and I will be doing the presentation. Dr. Autry and Lydia will be monitoring the chat. If you have questions, feel free to put in the questions in the chat, or we'll have time later on. And then Dr. Autry and Lydia, please feel free to chime in if I missed anything. Okay. So let me share my screen. Just give me a minute. It's going to take a minute to figure out how to do this. Okay. All right, can everyone see that? Okay, thank you so much. So we'll go ahead and get started. So the first degree that we're going to talk about is our Bachelor of Science in Recreation and Park Management. This is a really nice degree, or a really great degree if you're not sure exactly what you want to do. It's very broad and can lead into a lot of different career paths. So the recreation and park management students learn how to manage employees, plan and promote activities, create budget, manage risk, conduct recreation programs and special events. And we like to say we cover everything from aquatics to zoo, the whole alphabet. So our students can go into a ton of different careers. So if you want to learn how to run summer camps or recreational camps, youth sports camps, we prepare you to do that. If you're interested in facilities management or even coastal resource management or wildlife preservation, we have instructors who do research in that as well. Military recreation is big for us. If you want to go into parks and recreation and be a park ranger, if you want to do adventure tourism at a resort or work with senior center, it is a very broad degree. So there are a lot of different things you can do, and there are a lot of opportunities with that. CNN says that this recreation management was one of the 10 unusual majors that you can get a job in doing something that you enjoy. So again, this degree is going to prepare you to do a lot of different things. If you don't think working in, maybe like a hospital setting or working in an office space is a good fit for you, then this is a great degree, especially if you love tourism, if you love adventure. And when I say adventure tourism, I mean like rock climbing, kayaking, canoeing, those types of things, or being outdoors. This is a great degree for that. So again, careers you can go into, commercial recreation tourism. We have students who get jobs working at resorts or working on cruise ships, doing adventure type tourism things, planning those things out. managing those. We have students who are in recreational sport leadership. So one of our alums works for Greenville Parks and Rec, and they coordinate all of the youth sports for the whole county. We have someone who's working in ECU athletics. If you're interested in planning, so a lot of times athletes will come back to their hometowns and do these types of summer camps. They need somebody to manage those camps and coordinate those camps. You learn about that here too, as well as after school programming. Community and nonprofit recreation, whether it's facilities management, working for the YMCA. And then there's also outdoor recreation if you want to be an adventure tour guide or, go into be a park ranger. There, again, a lot of different things you can learn about. Sample salary. So there's a lot of different levels. There's a lot of different certifications you can get with this degree, and they are encouraged. I know something that the recreation and park management faculty do is they somehow offer a free, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, you get a chance to sign up for conferences as well as an organization, and it's their accrediting body organization, the National Recs and Park Association. There's a student chapter, and you get access to that. We will pay for your membership, your annual membership to that if you're interested. So these are some sample courses, and I don't have a 4-year plan, but I can definitely explain. This will be similar for recreational therapy as well. When you come into ECU, you're what we call an intended student. So you would come in and you would be intended recreational therapy or intended recreation and park management. And you have to meet certain requirements set by that degree program to be what we call a declared major. So typically your first year, your first 2 years, you're completing prerequisite courses or general education courses. For the major, all students have to take Gen Eds at ECU regardless of your major, 40 hours. That includes your Englishes, 7 hours of sciences, humanities and fine arts, social sciences, and at least 1 math. So recreation and park management does not have any set general education courses. So you can take whatever you want for Gen Eds, as far as, you could take Math 1050, the lower level math. You can take any science you want, like a lot of my students like the water planet class. There's also an atmospherical weather and climate class that a lot of our students like as well. This is also, I'm going to plug here, our semester at the coast. I don't know if anybody has heard of that. A lot of our recreation and park management students, this is a great fit for them during their freshman or sophomore year. During the spring semester, you can apply to do a semester at the coast. So we have a campus on the Outer Banks. So students live at the Outer Banks for the whole spring semester. They take classes in coastal resource or coastal and marine studies, as well as some other Gen Eds that are offered there. And it's also a good way for them to get their coastal and marine studies minor at that semester at the coast. They can pretty much do it in 1 semester from what I've been told. They do research there. And also our students, I don't know how much you guys know about this or are interested in research. Our students are able to do undergraduate research with our faculty as undergrad students. Most of the time you think of research as a graduate level, but we get our students involved early. We're really big on experiential learning in the department, as you'll see. So for recreation and park management, to declare in the major, you just have to have 30 hours and a 2.0 GPA. It's not competitive. You declare pretty much after your freshman year, and that kind of opens you up to take all of the upper level major courses. Here's a list of sample courses that we have. The first class you'll take, and you'll take this for both RT and RPM, is the Leisure and Society class. We also have Commercial Recreation and Community Development, which is a wonderful class for students to take. I think they're looking at changing the name of that course to maybe Commercial Entrepreneurship and Community Development. Recreation and Event Planning. There is adventure-based program leadership if you are interested in adventure-based programs. So actually go to the Campus Rec and Wellness Center, and you do different programs like the rock climbing program or the kayaking, canoeing, something like that. We also have facilities management and aquatic management, sport programming, youth development organizations and services. And then we also have the Great Smoky Mountains Outdoor Field Experience. If you are into outdoor camping and recreation and hiking, you can take this course it is in the spring semester, and I think they're going in a couple of weeks. It's a week-long trip to the Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, and they get to meet up with other colleges while they're camping out there from other schools, and they learn about outdoor recreation. So that's a really cool hands-on class. This degree, you have set core courses, but then you also have what we call 27 hours of restricted electives. Or you could do a minor. So if you're looking to, or even a double major, if you're looking to minor or double major with something else at ECU, this program is a great fit. So, and we usually tell students, if you want to do a minor, do it something based on something you're interested in career-wise. So I've had students who are interested in military recreation, they'll do the leadership studies minor. I have students who are interested in, I have one student, she's doing the coastal and marine studies minor because she is interested in coastal conservation and ecotourism, those types of things. If students are interested in doing like hospitality management or tourism, the hospitality management minor is really good because apart from learning these things in the recreation and park management, you're also learning about leadership in food and beverage services, hotel lodging, those types of things. So there's a lot of complementary degrees out there with recreation and park management. Both degrees require that you do an internship. And the recreational and therapy internship is clinical, so it's a little bit different, but this is the very last thing you'll take. So your very last semester, you're doing a 12 credit hour course. This can be taken in fall, spring, or summer semester to really get that hands-on experience before going out into your career. So it's 480 hours. It's 40 hours a week for 12 weeks. It is like a full-time job, so we don't let students take other classes while you're doing your internship. We've had students who have been placed in youth camps for athletic teams, Boys and Girls Club. We also have students who have done national and international tourism destinations. I know within the past few years, I think pre-COVID, we actually had a student who interned at Alaska at a national park there. We've had other students who have interned in Colorado at a national park there. I think our student ambassador, Dan, who is with Recreation and Park Management, couldn't be here tonight because he's currently on his internship as well. So really a lot of great opportunities within this degree. Some other neat opportunities that we have done study abroad for recreation and park management, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, Italy, Costa Rica. They're trying to get more domestic hands-on experience. So I know they're trying to set up an Alaska domestic study abroad program. They're also trying to set up a class that would go to Shenandoah Valley National Park. We also, again, have research that I mentioned, the availability to go to professional student conferences, and something that we also do that I want to talk about that a lot of other departments may not do, or a lot of other majors or colleges may not do, is you get an academic advisor. So I'm the academic advisor for both Rec and Park Management and RT, and you're required to meet with me at least once a semester to get your PIN, or at least check in to get your registration PIN. We talk about how the semester is going. And then when you're declared, you get a faculty mentor in the department that works with you one-on-one as far as career-wise. So I'm the person who's making sure you're on track to graduate, that you're taking the classes you need to, and then your faculty mentor is going to be the one who helps you with internship advice, career advice, some of these more experiential learning exercises that you may want to do, and how to get involved. So next so are there any questions? I can't really see if are there any questions in the chat about recreation and park management before we move on to recreational therapy? Okay. So
there is one question.
Okay.
There's a question, are the internships paid?
So students find the internships on their own. They can be paid. I'm pretty sure they can be paid or not, or unpaid. So it's up to you what kind of internship you can get. I'm not sure about recreational therapy. Maybe you can answer that question, Carrie, if they're paid or unpaid. I think most of the recreational therapy ones are unpaid. Most of the internship opportunities will be unpaid, but we do have a few that I have seen that are paid. So yeah, it's up to you. So we have pre-seminar courses that you take. There are actually 3 with recreation and park management. So you take those, each semester building up to your internship. The first one talks about resume, cover letters, careers, and then the second one builds on that. The last pre-intern or seminar course is your pre-internship course. So you learn about internship requirements, where have students previously interned at, what are some opportunities out there for you, how do you apply for internships. So it really is the student's responsibility to get that internship, and we support them along the way. But this is your senior year, your last semester before going out into the real world. So we want students to kind of experience that almost like a job search, but with the support from your faculty mentor and from myself to help get those opportunities. And we get internship opportunities from our connections around the country that we forward to students as well. So I get a lot of those, and I like internship opportunity for fall, spring, or summer. Some of them have been paid. So again, that is up to you and what you're able to find out there. It can have to be in North Carolina. It could be anywhere in the country.
Kelly, I just wanted to add that, some internships might offer a stipend.
Yes,
so that's another keyword, or even housing. So there can be other ways that could help financially if it's not a traditionally paid experience.
Yes, we actually just got an email a few weeks ago. I think it was for RT that I sent out. It was in Colorado, and it wasn't a paid internship, but they did paid a stipend, and they provided housing, which is huge for their interns. Okay, so moving on to the BS in recreational therapy degree. So recreational therapy, and please chime in, Carrie, because I don't have my notes with me, is a healthcare profession that systematically utilizes recreation and other activities to enhance functional skills and abilities. So whereas recreation and park management, your careers are broad, you can go into a lot of different job titles, careers, areas of work. This degree specifically prepares you to become a licensed recreational therapist, and we'll talk about what that is in just a moment. So you're a licensed recreational therapist. It doesn't mean you do one thing for the rest of your life. There are a lot of different populations you can work with. There are a lot of different areas you can work in, but it does specifically prepare you to be a licensed recreational therapist. So recreational therapist, so you work as a member of a treatment team. You work with physicians, you work with nurses, you work with occupational therapists, psychologists, doctors. This is a lot of our students want to go on and do occupational therapy post-graduation, which is great. This is a great segue into that master's degree or DOT program, as a lot of those programs are moving towards. And we help you fit in those prerequisites, which aren't very different from the curriculum you're already taking with recreational therapy. We provide interventions to individuals in a group setting. And so our clients could have special needs. They could be vulnerable populations like aging adults. They could be physically recovering from a trauma. So we work with a range of clients and with a range of modalities. So leisure, we use recreational activities as a form of therapy. And I try to break it down this way for students because, you know, there's physical therapy, there's occupational therapy, there's recreational therapy. What's the difference? So physical therapists work with you post trauma. So let's say you get in a car accident and you know you've hurt your knee or your leg. They help you learn how to walk again, and it's really the science behind the movement of that trauma and making it better again and making it functional again. Occupational therapists help you learn how to do everyday things after that. So learning how to eat, learning how to get in and out of a car, those types of things. Then recreational therapy is really holistic in nature. So we take physical, we take spiritual, we take the mental well-being, and we put it all together and help you learn how to have fun. I was talking to a student, one of our students, a few weeks ago, and he was telling me about his interest in recreational therapy, and he had had some therapy done after an accident, and he's like, the recreational therapy just really spoke to me. It showed me that I could still do sports. It showed me that I could still, you know, do all these things that I didn't think I would be able to do after my accident. Carrie, anything to add? Did I miss anything with that?
I would just say we really do focus on quality of life. So we have our work lives, we have our school lives, and recreational therapists really do help people increase their quality of life outside of those areas. So we all need to have leisure, recreation, but we also use activities to help in rehab and to increase that quality of life.
And you can see on this next slide here, there is a range of areas where recreational therapists can work. You can work in physical rehabilitation. Behavioral health is huge now, and you know, working in mental health. ECU Health here in Greenville is actually just committed to building a brand new behavioral health facility. So hopefully we'll have some internship opportunities there for our students. Nursing facilities, adult day programs, park and recreation, adaptive sports is really big, and VA clinics and school systems as well. And this is just another way of showing the different populations, the different settings that our students work in. A lot work in the community or in hospitals. We have a lot of area partners, which I think I'll talk about on the next slide. Or I'll talk about in a few slides, that where our students get very hands-on experience volunteering. So there's ACEs for Autism. If you're interested in working with children who have autism, we have an inclusive dance program called ECU Danceability, where our students will teach kids how to, you know, do dance steps or dance routines, and they have a little recital at the end of each semester. We have the Rocking Horse Ranch if, you know, you're interested in doing therapeutic recreation with horses or other animals. And then I'm going to let Carrie talk about her sailboat lab in a little bit as well. So, and this is from May 2021, so this will be updated soon. We are seeing an increase in job growth with recreational therapists, and median salary is around, I would say, 48,000. I know there's been a lot of labor market adjustments in the past year across the country. So I think that's actually probably a little bit higher now. And then it also depends where you live and cost of living rates and those types of things. Recreational therapy is ranked number 10 in college majors that lead to satisfying careers. And so that picture in the background there and this picture here, this is just another thing that we've done. We've partnered with some different departments across campus and have done a sensory lab. So that's what you're seeing a picture of now at Minges Coliseum. So if there are, if you're at the game, whether you're a child or adult, and you're having sensory overload, the noise is a little bit too much, this is a nice space where students who are at the games can come and just calm down. It's a nice quiet space. They're actually, I think Dr. Lloyd is actually working on a sensory wagon or trailer that could be taken to different events like festivals. So that resource would be there for kids as well. Recreational therapy, again, is a competitive major. So you come in as intended recreational therapist and you have to meet certain requirements to be eligible to apply to the major. The gen eds there are some gen eds that are set. So you do have to take an ethics course as one of your humanities. Your social sciences are set because there's a lot of psychology involved in recreational therapy. So you'll take psychology courses, and then you also have to take anatomy and physiology. So to be eligible to apply, you have to have completed certain prereqs, and they're listed there. Have a 2.50 GPA, and 25 documented hours of direct experience, or what we call shadowing or volunteer hours, with recreation-based activities with individuals with disabilities in the community. So right now, we are not requiring that for when you apply. It's great if you have it, but really you have to have it before you take a certain 4,000 level class. So with this declaration process, there is an application that you submit, and we like for you to include a cover letter and resume. And then there's also an interview that you have to complete through Interview Stream. We do accept fall, spring, and summer, and most of our students who apply are accepted. I will say we have a pretty high acceptance rate for this degree, even though it is a competitive major. Carrie, do you want to talk a little bit about the courses that students take in recreational therapy?
Yeah, so there is a course that you take. It's Foundations of Recreational Therapy before you are accepted into the program. So that's a very good course to learn about the whole process behind recreational therapy and what makes it what makes recreation therapeutic. So after you're in the program, you do take class that's more focused on learning about the different disabilities and how RT services apply to working with those different populations. We have an assessment class and assessment lab that goes along with that. I just want to say that we really do have some hands-on courses. So, having the lab with the assessment class gets you into learning hands-on about different assessment tools. We have a clinical application course that's really hands-on. You learn things like wheelchair transfers and how to use wheelchairs and different parts. And our instructor brings in people from the community and helps help the students learn about some of those different clinical skills. We have 2 intervention courses. We have our cognitive and psychosocial course, our physical and movement intervention courses. They're very hands-on. So we have, learning the content part of it, but then also how those different interventions are applied. I can't say enough how much this program teaches the content, but also is very experiential. And the resources here at ECU Recreational Therapy, I've been at 3 other universities, and I have never seen a program that had the resources available. So from the equipment like transport wheelchairs, I think we have 3 or 4 of those. We have 10 wheelchair sport wheelchairs that we use for our physical interventions class. We have 3 labs. We might talk about that in a little bit, but those offer different types of equipment and resources for our students. It's pretty spectacular and from my experiences. And I tell the students that, you know, ECU is just a great program with all the different courses we have and the resources that are there available for them. The internship course, I don't know if you're going to go into that a little bit more, but
I thought I did have an internship. I didn't. It must have got deleted. But yeah, if you want to talk about the internship, we have a wonderful internship coordinator who I cannot
yes,
speak
we do.
about. I'm not going to make her talk because she's here as a parent, but I did want to give a plug. She also teaches one of the classes. We have a couple of classes that overlap with RPM and RT that you take. That's again a really hands-on event programming, event planning course as well. But I'll let you talk about the internship.
With our internship, we have definitely important preparation for those. And it starts when you come into the program. So you're set up with your faculty mentor. And we are really, trying to start ahead of time, even when you come right into the program, start talking about your internship, looking through our internship folders. We have over 300 internship folders of sites that we've had in the past and that are current. So that's pretty amazing. We have a couple of internship preparation courses, just like with the RPM program, where you work on your resume, your cover letter, internship skills, and you work with your mentor alongside with those prior to those courses and alongside those courses. And then you have your internship preparation seminar class where our internship coordinator works really hard. Again, like Mrs. Steele was saying, there is responsibility on the students, but our internship coordinator does monitor that, have checklists to make sure the requirements in the internships are met. So it's a really good process, and we work really hard in helping you see where the internship placements are, and then securing an internship.
Yeah, and after the presentation, I know Lydia, our student ambassador on the call, has just secured an internship, so I'm going to let her talk a little bit more about that process once we're done, because we are almost done with the presentation, but I do want to talk a little bit about student experiences in recreational therapy, because we do have a lot of different labs. We have the biofeedback lab that they just changed their name. So the Center for Biofeedback, I think is what it is. And if you're not familiar with biofeedback, it is just a non-drug treatment for helping individuals lower their anxiety. So they do a lot of different testing to see what, raises your blood pressure, what gets your heartbeat going faster, and teaches you some skills for how to calm down. We also have the sensory lab, and also the sailboat simulation lab, which I will let Dr. Autry talk about in just a minute. We do have study abroad experiences, and I want to talk a little bit more about study abroad because there's different levels of study abroad at ECU. There's obviously the semester-long study abroad where you're off on a different country, by yourself. What we do specifically in this department is faculty-led summer study abroad. So if you don't feel like you can commit to a whole semester or that's a little bit intimidating, you can do a summer study abroad with a faculty member. This typically is around 2 to 3 weeks. You go with about 10 to 15 other students and that faculty member. This year, this summer, Dr. Loy is taking some students to, I think it's Italy. I'm blanking right now. Somewhere in Europe.
It's Germany.
Germany. Okay. That was going to be my second guess. To the World Special Olympics, and they're going to get to learn about that process and setting up an event. And you get credit for typically 3 to 6 hours. They're going to get credit for one class. I don't know if we have any out-of-state students on the call, but if you're an out-of-state student, you pay in-state tuition for summer study abroad. And then we also have the Recreational Therapy Student Society. They are very involved on campus and within the department. They do a lot of volunteer opportunities. That's a picture of them doing their You Matter Mondays and just making sure that there's somebody there that you can talk to and that cares about you. And so I'll let Lydia talk about that in a little bit. And then Carrie, do you want to talk about the sailboat simulation lab? Because this is something very unique to not only ECU, but across the country, you'll see.
So just a little bit about the sailing simulation lab. We have a virtual reality sailing simulator. It's one of 3 in the United States. So it's very unique experience to have. It is virtual reality. Our program is really becoming big in some of the virtual reality interventions. We have different faculty that are doing research and doing programming with virtual reality. So our simulation is under that category of virtual reality. But we also have a program in conjunction with the lab that is an adaptive sailing program. So we have participants with physical disabilities that go from virtual reality to reality on the water, and they learn how to sail. We do work with the students. I just got about 20 students into the sailing simulator last week. And so we do work with the Recreational Therapy Student Society. So again, it's just one of the 3 labs that we have in our program to give students multiple and a variety of experiences. I also wanted to add just another student experience is going to conferences, and Lydia can maybe talk a little bit about that, but that can be facilitated through the Student Society or in other ways of scholarships and how we mentor our students to, encourage them to apply for scholarships to go to conferences. All our faculty are very involved in different levels of conferences, from local to state to regional to national to international conferences and professional organizations.
Yeah, I know it's not kosher to brag about yourself, but what was the award that the faculty just recently won?
Oh yes, I wanted to make a note to make sure we talked about that. So our professional organization, the American Therapeutic Recreation Association, awarded us in our recreational therapy program the Excellence in Education Award last semester, and it's peer voted. So that means that our peer programs across the nation and Canada voted us as the award of excellence in education. So
they basically said we have the best faculty in Canada and the United States. So there is a licensure test that you take at the end of your degree. Once you graduate, you do have to pass your national certification to work as a licensed recreational therapist. And I don't think this was last year, but the year before, we actually had 100% passing rate for all of our students who took that exam for the first time. And we are accredited by the Commission on Accreditation of Allied Health Programs and through the Committee of Accreditation for Recreational Therapy Education. And just like with RPM, there's other certifications that you can get with this degree. So for example, the students who are going on study abroad will be able to sit and test for their adaptive sports certification as well. And we do encourage you to get different certifications while you're going through the program if you can. The last thing I want to talk about before I turn it over to questions is our accelerated graduate programs. This is for both rec and park management and recreational therapy. This allows you to do graduate level coursework during your senior year. So what we do as me as an advisor and both program directors and our graduate program director, we keep what we call a watch list for recommendations. So students who have above a 3.3 GPA and are getting closer to 75 hours, we'll encourage them to apply to our accelerated master's program. So if you get accepted into that, what that means is during your senior year, you're able to take graduate level coursework in our Master's of Science Recreation Sciences program, so that when you do graduate, that you only have a year left to get your master's degree. So you essentially get your undergraduate degree and a master's degree in 5 years. We have a student who is currently doing that now. She's been taking graduate level courses this past year. She's doing her internship this summer, and she's going to graduate this summer and then be full-time in the graduate program and finish up in a year. So that is something new that we started, and it's a really great program, and I highly recommend it. So we want to hear from you guys as soon as I can figure out how to stop sharing my screen. While questions are coming in, I'm going to open it up to Lydia. Lydia, do you want to talk about your experience at ECU, why you chose ECU in recreational therapy? Talk a little bit about your internship that's coming up and everything you're involved in on campus. Because yes, you have a major. It's great to be involved in your major, but we'd also encourage you to get involved in ECU and the community. It is a big school, but it feels small, so which I like.
Yes, ma'am, I agree. I think ECU, I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I went to a super small private school that my graduating class was the largest one to ever go through, and we had about 100 students. So I was pretty scared and didn't really think that I wanted to go to a big school. But in 8th grade, I served at a summer camp for people with disabilities, and I learned what adaptive sports were. Or was and is. And so then from there, I decided that that's what I wanted to do, that I didn't really want to sit in an office all day and behind a computer, just because my personality doesn't work for that. It works for some people, but it just does not work for mine. And so my mom began to research what I did all summer at camp and then learned that it is called recreational therapy. And so then from there, I was in 9th grade. At that point, we started looking for universities that had that. And then my junior year, I got accepted into this program at ECU called the STEP program. And the STEP program is a program here on campus that is for 10 or 8 to 10, really like 4 to 10 students per cohort that have learning disabilities. And so I applied. You kind of like sign into it like you would, and they do like a big ceremony like you would for like a sports signing. And so I got into the program, and I was actually like, oh my gosh, ECU is still really big. Like, I don't really know if I want to go. And so one of my best friends encouraged me to come tour it one more time. And at this point, I had toured it probably 3 or 4 times. And the couple of times I came, it was raining. And so then I came back, and when I came that time, everyone was out on campus in their purple and gold. And that just kind of sold it for me, seeing everybody engaged with the community and really being behind Pirate Nation. And you don't really realize it's that big of a deal until you're here. what Pirate Nation means to everyone that has gone here or goes here. And so that's my little plug. You should definitely come. But so I started rec therapy since I was a freshman. Some people don't come in intended rec therapy, and a lot of my classmates haven't, but a lot of them have switched to rec therapy, and they're 100% like, this is what I want to do. I just didn't know it was a thing. And so congratulations, you guys are hearing about it earlier, which is great. So you might not have to go through that. And but I would say that kind of just made my experience at ECU. I met Dr. Loy, which is one of the professors in the department as a freshman, because my godbrother was dating a girl who was a rec therapy major. And so I just kind of followed her around all freshman year. And then that resulted in me becoming a part of the Rec Therapy Society, or the Recreational Therapy Student Society, RTSS. And so they did a lot of different adaptive sport exercises, and we got to do different fun things. They just recently did the Pie of the Professors and raised a lot of money in that. And so it's just another club and organization offered at ECU. That's one of the ones that I started out as a freshman. I'm also a Young Life leader here in Pitt County. So if you've ever heard what that is, it's a ministry, a nationally accredited ministry that we have one here in Pitt County. And so we have students from ECU that lead at different high schools and middle schools in the county. And so I lead at a high school. So I do that, as well as I am the HHP ambassador. That was something that I got this past year. I was nominated by, well, I think the faculty. I'm not really sure how I got it, if I'm being honest. I think they nominated me, but and then I went through an interview process and got the position that I'm in now. And then so I've also, at my time as a freshman, I did the Miss East Carolina University pageant. And so it's a scholarship pageant here on campus, kind of what you think of when you think of Miss North Carolina, Miss America. That's pretty much what it is, except it really shows fundraising and you raise the money for the scholarship. And so I was lucky enough to win that in 2020. And so I won Miss ECU in 2020. And then while I was doing Miss ECU, I started a business. So I have a clothing business that started in Fletcher Dorm Hall, if you ever tour, and down in the basement in the oven down there. It's a little sketchy down there, but that's where it started. And so I started my business there, and now I have a clothing brand called Designs by Lid. And through ECU, the Miller School of Entrepreneurship has helped me get there to have my business where it's at. I'm in the finals for something called the Entrepreneurship Challenge, which is kind of like a challenge here on campus, kind of like Shark Tank, if you think about that. There's just a bunch of different businesses or ideas that are from all different colleges of ECU. So I think every single college is represented in some form. And so all different types of majors, so many different majors, not just business majors. And so I did that, and now I'm a finalist, and I will be competing for the prizes. I think it's like $150K in accredited prizes together. And so I'm competing for that in April. I'm trying to think. I scuba dive. That's my favorite thing, actually.
I was gonna say, if that's not enough, she's also the reigning homecoming queen. But then, yes, get us with the scuba diving too.
No,
So I think it just shows you that.
Yes.
I think it just shows you that you could have a nice balance too.
Yeah.
Being a student, but also having your personal life. But yes, tell about the adaptive scuba diving, and then talk about your internship. And then there are a couple of questions that I'm going to answer in the chat as well.
Okay, so I actually, because like when she was showing the suggested sample classes of courses, I took for one of my electives scuba diving. So through ECU, there's opportunities for so many different classes. We have pottery, everything that you can do rec therapy or really any major and get involved in other areas on campus through classes with electives. But rec therapy really allows you to explore what you want to learn. And so I took scuba diving, and now we have a scuba diving club here on campus that is super fun. I'm the president of it. If you come, you should do it. And we just did adaptive scuba. Well, Dr. Loy and one of the old RTSS president organized it. And so they just got to take people underwater that may not be able to in the pool we have here at ECU that isn't really accessible. So they did it through outside source, which is another pool that offers adaptive swim lessons and just adaptive sports there. And then, so I'm very passionate about that. So my internship this summer, I met the people from the internship through the conference that came to Greenville. So one of the rec therapy conference came to Greenville, and I had the opportunity to go because our student society helped us pay for it. And so we were able to go and just meet so many different certified recreational therapists and get to know them and learn about where they work and what they do. And it's kind of for their continuing of learning. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not completely prepared in that yet, but, and so they were there doing it. And I met these people from Wilmington who work at Access of Wilmington, which is an adaptive sport facility that offers Miracle Baseball, like it kind of like, if you think of a four-wheeler, but it's like adaptive for the beach. And so they have these like roamers that go on the beach for people that are in wheelchairs that may never get to step foot on the sand. And so that, as well as they have adaptive scuba diving, surfing, every sport you can really think of, archery, they have fitness classes. And so I met them and fell in love with them in their facility and went and toured it, and then got accepted in early January. So that's where I'm headed in May, and then I will technically graduate in August. I'm walking in May, but I will technically graduate in August.
Thank you. And so please chime in the chat. You can unmute yourself and ask questions. I do have one question in the chat right now. That says, would this degree fit along with sport medicine? And I think it depends on your definition of sport medicine and what you want to do in sport medicine. You have physical therapy, athletic training, occupational therapy in sports. So it just depends on your definition. I will say most of those programs, like PT, OT, PA, whatever it may be, you can major in anything as long as you get the prerequisites you need for those specific programs. So, and the different programs have different prerequisites. So you were, for example, wanting to go to med school or physical therapy, you'd have to take Gen Chem 1 and 2, Physics 1 and 2, and we would have to work those into either RPM or RT courses. It can be, and yes, it can be done. So there's a minor in composite natural science that you can get that can help with those prereqs. Again, occupational therapy is pretty in line with what a recreational therapist does. So that would be a good fit. Athletic training is can be a good fit as well. It's just that some of the med school and physical therapy prereqs are going to be more science heavy, where, I guess recreational therapy or recreation park management is more holistic, is what I'll say. But yeah, you can talk with me more about that. I'm going to send out an email in the morning, a follow-up email. It'll have this presentation. It'll have some of the social media sites that would be really good to follow, like the Rec Sciences page. You'll get to see the Pie the Professor. That was recent. There's also the HHP Ambassadors Instagram page, which Lydia just finished. It kind of shows you it's student run, so it shows you a day in the life of a student at ECU, them going to their different classes, extracurricular activities, things like that. So yes, what other questions do you have? Even if it's outside the major, I'm happy to help answer. I'm sure Lydia will answer ECU specific questions, like where to eat, which residence hall you should live in, those types of things. As far as next steps, if you guys are already committed to ECU and you plan on coming here, we do have registration coming up where we go ahead and allow freshmen to register and try to secure spots in their classes. So if you're in the honors college or if you're a student athlete, you will be able to register for classes starting April 6th. It doesn't mean you have to register on April 6th. That's just when it opens up. All other incoming freshmen, you'll be able to begin your registration on April 24th.
Can we ask which major people are interested in? Or
Yeah. So if you could drop in the chat or unmute yourself, let us know. Are you interested in rec and park management? Are you interested in rec therapy? I've had students who are interested in both. And so we do have a minor in recreation and park management, so that fits right along with recreational therapy. Rec and park management. So rec and park management again is very broad. We have RT. I kind of had a feeling we would have a mix tonight. So Lydia, what's your favorite place to eat on campus?
I really like Avon Pain. I think that's how you say it. It's like the Panera in the student
Yeah.
center, but it's not actually Panera. They have a really good smoothie and salad.
We have a Cane's Chicken. It's the only one in the state. So if you've never eaten there, somebody actually said, I don't want to say their name in case they're private, but they actually work at the Rocking Horse Ranch, and that's kind of influenced their drive to come to rec therapy. Yes, we have a really great connection with them. And I think I mentioned Rocking Horse Ranch. That is a therapeutic organization where they help people how to learn how to ride horses, take care of horses. So that it's just a really cool opportunity. And we have students who volunteer there a lot.
the coordinator there is one of our students in recreational therapy.
Oh, okay.
She's yeah. We have students that are that go on to get their master's in our program too. So we have a few students that are continuing.
So we have somebody who's actually going to be here on March 25th for the Pirates of Ward event. Yes, picnic lunches. They are doing picnic lunches on campus. I feel like you're going to be able to pick up a lunch is what they're doing. But yeah, there may be long lines. We do have the Grubhub app where you can pre-order. We also, yes, and most families are encouraging you to eat on the mall where the cupola is. Yes, we do have the little robots. They're
I was gonna
so
say we
cute.
have robots.
I
to deliver
know.
food.
I hope the students are very respectful and do not hurt the robots. I feel very protective of them. I don't want them to get hurt. But yes, they are encouraging students like you to eat on the mall in the cupola, which I'll kind of get out the way. That's the cupola. That's the mall where you can have lunch. Let me, Dana, I will get back to you on that for specifics of lunch because I feel like they told me they were gonna have pickup where you could just go and pick up like a bagged lunch. So I want to make sure I tell you the correct information for that. So I'll look that up and I'll let you know tomorrow. Okay. Yes. So yeah, you can do bag lunch. But there are going to be a lot of people there that day, and I'm not even sure what's going to be open. I think most of the time the places will be open, especially when we have an event. But I would expect long lines for especially Starbucks if you're a big Starbucks person.
I don't know if Chick-fil-A will be open that day because I don't think they're open on Saturdays.
Yeah, I don't think Chick-fil-A will be. I'm thinking more of the main campus student center places. I don't think the other places will be open. Are you offering tours of RT during that weekend? Unfortunately, we are not. Just because the Belt Building is not on main campus, so we would have to get a bus to go over to recreational where recreational therapy is. We are doing a presentation in the afternoon where you can, meet. I'm not sure who's scheduled to be there that day, but I'll be there. so you can meet me. But no, unfortunately, we're not able to, just because it's such a large group. It would be hard to get to the Belk building that weekend.
Where are you from, Dana?
And you can unmute if you want. That's totally fine. Yeah.
Hi, I'm actually Ashley Goldstein's mom. She's at a retreat and she was on here a little bit ago, but had to leave. We're actually from Southern Maryland, so we were just
Oh,
here 2 weeks ago for the HHP day, and she was thinking about doing kinesiology, so we ended up doing that
okay.
tour, and that's when we realized, oh, we should have done rec therapy. So
Mhm.
because this is more in line with what she wants to do for occupational therapy and adaptive recreation and all.
If you ever want to come back and have a tour, we know we're glad to show students the different labs and the classrooms and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
I know you're a little far away, but we are known to give tours to individual students too.
If you ever need, I've given a couple of tours already with a couple of rec therapy students who've just come for the day and they've explored. So if you come to like a baseball game weekend or something like that, could be a reason to come and really experience what ECU has to offer. Because on the weekends it's great, but there's a lot of students that aren't going to be out and about. So.
And maybe we can do like a virtual tour if you're not planning to come back. That might be a good alternative. If that's something you want to do, we could definitely set something up with Lydia and Mac and just kind of show you around some of the labs virtually, and we can kind of give you like a little presentation of what they do.
Okay, yeah. Afterwards, Mac did take us over there, and I can't think of the lady's name that we met with, and so we got like a mini tour, but I just didn't know if there was
Rebecca.
like presentation
Oh,
wise.
okay. Yeah. Oh.
Mrs. Burnley.
There's
Yeah, she's
some
phenomenal. I was
stuff,
super excited that she took the extra time and took us over to the Belk building. So really excited to see.
Maybe we can do something with like Lydia and maybe Dr. Lloyd, because he was pretty knowledgeable about all the labs, or on the day when everybody's in, Harry, you're in, you can actually show the sailboat lab and kind of its function. And yeah, we could definitely try to set up something virtual if you would like.
There's some stuff on the ambassadors page of us in class, if you look at that too.
Okay, thank you.
And we just had Recreational Therapy Month. That's the month of February, and we had a lot of different events that our students took a lead on. One of our grad students took a major lead on, and our Recreational Therapy Student Society helped out a lot. So talking about research, the money that the RTSS raised is for student research. So I mean, it's exciting to see how everything connects together.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before we sign off?
I will say, if you are here the 25th, I will be here and around if you need me to show you anything as well. I'll be busy, but I'll be here. There's a JDRF walk going on, so I'll be here for that.
About to say, I'm very impressed with your busy schedule.
I don't know how she does it.
A lot of time management. The program that I'm in, they help teach you how to do a planner, so that helps a lot.
And that's in her program, but we also have the Pirate Academic Success Center that has free resources for students. So free tutoring, but you could also set up an appointment with a peer mentor or a learning specialist, and they will help you do some of that time management stuff. They'll have you bring in your planner, and they'll help you plan out times to study, make you write all your exams down, all your homework assignments down. the first week of class, like that's my biggest recommendation for students is just to write everything down. Go ahead for the whole semester, build in your fun time. And then they'll also do work with you if you like have testing anxiety or, study skills, note-taking skills, those types of things as well.
The rec therapy faculty also, they don't like to brag on themselves, but they're really, really good at helping you with any situation, whether it's outside of school or it's school. You can go to any professor that has their door open and they'll sit down and guide you through writing an email, help you do an application, or if you just need a hug and you're crying, they're there for you. So they're definitely, but I don't know if it's just because I'm always rec therapy, but my roommates, I will be upset and they're like, oh, are you going to talk to Dr. So-and-so today? And I'm like, I am. And they're like, they're so supportive of you, but they're in other majors. So it just shows that the rec therapy major is really good.
Mary Helen asked about, would you recommend taking all 4 years or doing the first 2 years at a community college, not affect anything? That is totally up to you, and that is your choice. We do have a lot of transfer students in recreational therapy. I would just, please, make sure you're communicating with me. That way I can help you with courses. Like we talked about, there's certain science courses that you would want to take, maybe at the community college. And then, yes, you're essentially your first semester here after a transfer student. If you've done all of your gen eds, you're taking anything you're missing. Like typically it's the philosophy course, the leisure and society, and the rec therapy, recreational therapy foundations course, and a couple of other classes your first semester at ECU. But you can apply to that first semester at ECU after being a transfer student straight into the program. We don't require you to establish an ECU GPA right away or anything like that. So typically students who are transfer students do one semester and hopefully from there get into the program and then do 3 semesters of classes and then that last semester as an internship. So transfer students is typically a minimum 5 semesters, I will say. Did I do that right? Yes. So 2.5 years or 2 years in the summer as a transfer student. All right, any other questions? Oh, good, good. Yes, I'm going to email everyone in the morning. Please reply to that email if you have any specific questions. Mary Helen, if you want to make sure you're on track and if you want to give me course recommendations, I'm happy to do that. And I know we discussed some other things. So thank you guys so much for being here. We really, this is time out of your day. Thank you to Lydia and Dr. Autry for being here as well. I really appreciate it because it helps me. And we're just excited to see you at ECU. And yes, hopefully we'll see you at Pirates Aboard. That's going to be the next in-person event. So we're really excited and gearing up for that.
Thank you, everyone. It's
Have
nice
a great
meeting you.
night. Yes, nice to meet everyone.